Welcome to the 60 Plus podcast.
I'm Janet.
And I'm Joe. And I'm a little confused. It's cold in the studio.
I'm freezing.
But it's not that cold. Why are you
so tired
why
of
are you wearing
winter?
so
I can't take it anymore.
So what?
So I need to be a snowbird.
A snowbird. Is that an official snowbird hat?
Yeah, this is my well, no, I won't need it if I become a snowbird. I guess
Can I borrow your hat?
maybe I can use it to get there.
Does it help you fly?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like wings.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about snowbirding today.
We are, yeah.
And this was actually a listener suggestion for this
It
topic.
was one of our big fans.
Yep.
Suggested we talk about it. And I'm actually getting very interested in this because my old bones can't take this cold weather anymore.
It's been a rough winter.
It has. It really has. And windy and cold. And I'm thinking, where shall I go? What could I do? So that's what we're going to cover today.
Have you been wearing your hat?
Yes.
Oh, you
all
have?
winter long.
Have you really?
And nothing else.
Snowbirding. What's snowbirding?
So snowbirding is, according to our research, it is the practice of individuals, often retirees, migrating.
Migrating.
So you have to fly from colder northern.
No, you don't have to fly.
No, you don't.
There are land animals that migrate.
It's true. So from colder northern regions to warmer southern locales during the winter months to avoid harsh weather conditions.
Typically, it's retirees, but I have
Yeah.
friends that they both work from home
Yeah.
and they spend a couple of months down south.
Do you know how many snowbirds there are?
7. No, I don't. I don't know how many snowbirds there are.
Well, you didn't do very good research then, because usually we throw out a statistic or two about like how many seniors snowbird.
I'll say it again. There's nothing preventing you from doing some research as well.
Yes, life is preventing me.
There are all kinds of resources for snowbirds too. In doing the research, I came up with all kinds, and there'll be a lot
I
of.
don't know how many there are.
Yeah. All right. So that's a big problem.
It is.
Right.
You know me, I like the numbers. There are probably a lot of people out there who do it now. And there's probably a lot of people out there who would like to do it. And so hopefully this episode will help them figure out how to do it. So apparently there's a couple different ways you can do it.
This winter. Oh,
Yes.
this was last winter. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll take last winter's statistics.
34% of Americans are considering or making plans to snowbird to various parts of the world, with 38% of those heading south.
34%?
Mm-hmm.
That's like over 100 million. That's like 120 some million people doing it.
Well,
There you go.
this is according to Forbes.
Oh, so there you go. Okay. Nice research on the fly there. Get it? Snowbird, fly.
I don't think. What is this you have about flying and snowbirds?
I don't know. All right. So, Joe,
Yes.
now you said 34%. So that's clearly not just retirees doing
Can't
this.
be.
Yeah.
No.
So you can go to some locale and work for however many weeks you're going to be there too. It's not
Sure.
like you're just going and, playing, I don't know, shuffleboard.
Nice way to stereotype people our age.
Sorry. Yeah, I know, right? Or pickleball.
Pickleball.
Okay,
Golf.
so there's a couple ways,
Canasta.
right, that people have been bouncing around.
Sure.
Like, do I buy something and I go there every winter, or do I rent something
Mhm.
and go to different places? I have a friend was in southern Spain last winter and for like 6 weeks, and now is in Athens, Greece for 6 weeks.
Is she retired?
Well, it's a he, and
Is he retired?
no, he works.
The time zones must really
Yeah, but that's
be an
not
issue.
no, because you're only talking like an hour difference, a couple hours difference, isn't it?
Spain
No.
is like 6 hours.
Oh yeah, I guess it depends on where you're coming from.
An hour.
I don't know. I didn't get a lot of sleep last
I'm
night.
sorry about that. So you can buy, you can rent,
Yes, you can buy, you can rent.
and there are different considerations. So,
Wait, there's one more thing you can do.
van life. My parents were snowbirds.
Were they?
Yes.
What
And
kind?
the kind that go to Florida.
No, I mean, were they the rent, buy, or
Well, I was just going to
van?
say.
Mm-hmm.
They were very much homebodies.
Okay.
They wanted a place,
Okay.
and
And they
they would
wanted to
go to
go
that
to
place
that place.
every time.
Yeah.
They weren't ones to go explore, especially my father.
Yeah.
If my mom said, "Hey, let's go to Europe," he he would have been like, "I've been. I was there
Mm,
in the service. I don't need to see it again."
yeah. Okay.
So they went to Florida every winter for years.
Oh, and they loved it.
They did.
And I'm sure they had friends down
They
there and
did.
yeah. So they're winter friends and then
Hmm.
yeah, a lot of people do that. It's like they have another home, right? In a different locale.
I've noticed a lot of people from the same area up north will go to the same area down south, and
So they take their friends with them.
their friends travel as well.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that, well, actually, they've established residence in Florida now,
Oh, okay.
and they have their Florida friends and they have their Massachusetts friends.
Right.
There's a significant amount of crossover as well.
Yeah, I'm sure,
Hmm.
sure.
Hmm.
Well, and that might be part of why you move to a certain locale too, that you
Sure.
already have friends in that place.
Now you
Um,
can rent, and it makes it easy, like Airbnb and those kinds of sites.
yeah. Yeah, there's lots of different
Make it easier.
right. Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of like that idea because then you get to travel and see different places too. So I can see the
You're a wanderer.
benefits. I'm a wanderer.
I set that up for you.
You did.
And then the third kind is van life, and I have friends that do that.
I think that sounds like fun too.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
I
Like I always wanted to go cross country. I think that would be fun in a van.
I have friends they bought it's a Winnebago, but it's not like the big motorhome kind of Winnebago.
Right.
It's a large van,
Yeah.
and they go all over the place.
Yeah.
They come and visit. They live several hours from here, and they come and visit me. And I'll say, "Well, you want to stay over?" And they're like, "No, we're out in the
Wait, oh,
curb.
we'd like to park in
Can
in
we
your
park in your
driveway.
driveway?" Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and they go all over the place.
Right. So I guess, there are some considerations, right? Like given those different options, like you said, if you want to establish another residence, then you're going to probably buy something or at least set up that you're renting the same
Hmm.
place or in the same
Sure.
neighborhood or whatever. If you're more adventuresome and you want to see more of the world in the process of doing this, then you rent.
That takes a lot of the responsibility off of you from maintenance and
Mm-hmm.
paying taxes and
Right.
utilities and all of that. You just pay for the place for the time that you're there.
Right. But so there's some considerations of making that choice, right?
Hmm.
Certainly, how much flexibility do you want? How much freedom do you want? You're on the road versus you're in one place, but then you have to consider your health and
Oh, this is for
your
the van life
mobility.
people.
Yeah. Access to healthcare. So, there's some practical considerations
Well,
there,
like anything else
like anything else. But we also researched some of the most popular snowbird locations
in the
for
U.S.
that 34%, right?
Hmm.
Were you surprised by any of these? I
I
mean,
was.
I guess there was a few that I didn't think of.
I didn't think
Like
of
you
Gulf
always hear
Coast.
Florida, Arizona, right? So there's a couple
Right.
locations. But Alabama, that was
Gulf Coast, Alabama never
yeah,
would have occurred to me.
yeah. Tippy Island, Georgia. That's
Tybee Island.
is it Tybee?
It's Tybee.
Okay, Tybee Island.
Hmm. Which I've never been to,
And
but
Princeville, Hawaii. Like of all the places in Hawaii, well, Kauai's North Shore is absolutely
I've never been.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I guess once you get there, you stay. Like, it's kind of hard to get to, but I guess it's no harder than going to maybe an international location.
Well, it depends on where you're
Mm.
starting from.
Yeah.
From the East Coast, getting to Hawaii, it's
Hmm.
significant.
Have you heard of Pawleys Island in South Carolina?
I have not.
Yeah.
Did that
was
come up in the research as
yeah,
well?
that one came up too.
Okay.
Known for its laid back lifestyle,
Oh, I like that.
offers pristine beaches, golf courses, and a rich history. So there you go.
A lot of this, they talk about golf. I think it's a stereotype that retirees and snowbirders are golfing.
Well, golf takes a lot of time, right? So
It
you
does.
have to kind of be retired to be able to do that. But again, snowbirds don't
You golf
aren't
though, don't you?
necessarily. Yeah, but not
You're not
not
retired.
happily.
You know what? I don't know that anybody is a happy golfer. Everybody is.
Yeah, but I'm like in for 9. I'm good for 9,
9
and
holes?
I like to play with people who aren't serious about it. So,
Okay.
did you know that Venice, Florida, is the #1 destination for snowbirds?
I don't even know where Venice, Florida is.
It's in Florida.
Oh, well, I knew that
And it's
much.
on the beach.
Is it?
Yep. And it has a historic downtown,
Okay.
San Diego, California, Anna Marie Island in Florida, McAllen, Texas.
McAllen, Texas. Texas is becoming much more popular.
So that's for the US.
Oh,
Yeah.
Venice is on the West Coast,
Mm-hmm.
south of Sarasota and north of Fort Myers. I
So
wouldn't have guessed that
I'm a
that
little
was.
bit more interested in these international snowbird locations.
Okay, so that's a whole different thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like an hour time difference,
At least.
at least. Oh, St. Augustine, Florida is another popular one.
Yeah, that's a nice place. I was there
Oldest
very
city in
long. Isn't
America,
that where
I
the
think.
Fat and Youth is?
I
It is.
well, I think maybe, yeah.
Yeah, it is. And that's why older people tend to go there.
Is that why?
Yeah,
Okay.
they bathe
It's a nice city.
they bathe in the fountain every day and hope for their youth.
Their youth. So the popular international destinations.
Yes. Mexico, including Puerto Vallarta.
Vallarta.
Oh, come on, stop.
You know where I learned that?
All right.
This will be
Vallarta,
the second reference to that. I learned it on the Love Boat. Puerto
The
Vallarta.
Love Boat.
All
Soon
right.
will be. Riviera Maya,
Okay.
San Miguel de Allende.
Mm-hmm.
See, I did a good job at that, right?
Excellent.
Yeah, the cost of living is
Locals wouldn't even be able to know you were
No.
American.
no, definitely not.
A lot of the international destinations are much more affordable.
Mm.
The cost of living is much less.
Yeah, this says that it's definitely lower than in the U.S. Climate is good, and then the visa requirements are a real consideration here.
They
'Cause
sure are.
depending on
Mm-hmm.
how long you're going, but in Mexico you can stay up to 180 days without a visa.
A lot of places it's 180 days,
Yeah,
but you got to make sure that your passport's in order
yeah,
because your passport could expire while you're there.
right,
So
right, and you also have to think about healthcare too when you're there.
we did talk about that
Yeah.
with Art about Medicare
Mm-hmm.
and international travel. So that's a
Right.
big concern.
Yep.
And if you have health
Sure,
issues,
you can get coverage, but
probably.
yeah.
But if you have health concerns, you also have to think about the location that you're going to make sure
Yeah.
that they do have good health.
Exactly. So Portugal is second on the list.
Just about every week, I talk to someone that's either going to
I
Portugal or
know.
just got
I
back
have
from
not
Portugal.
been. Have you?
I've not. No.
No. No, it's on my list. Cost of living is affordable, particularly in the Algarve region.
Hmm.
Climate is mild in the winters. And again, the visa requirements allows up to 90 days with a 180-day period. So I guess you have
90 days within 180. So
Mm-hmm.
in a 6-month period, you can only stay.
Yeah.
You can go and come back and go and come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
And then Spain.
Spain would be, well, you know what I say about travel? What's the important thing about travel for me?
Food.
Food. You had a blank stare. I thought, oh no, she didn't
Oh,
remember.
no, that's just how I look.
And it
Well, Alicante and Malaga are mentioned here.
Malaga.
Malaga. Of course, I should know that. I
You
was
should
just
know that.
there last year. Like I told you, this brain is a sieve right now.
Okay.
But
Glad we recorded
cost
today.
of living is lower than in Canada.
This was from,
I was like, why are they mentioning Canada?
well, there's a website called snowbirdadvisor.ca. It's a Canadian website,
Oh,
and it's all advice for snowbirders.
yeah.
So some of this, for our northerly friends, it applies more to them, but it's less expensive than Canada.
Yeah, and you can stay again 90 days. I also recently came across this piece of information. I don't know how accurate it is, but
So please share.
that you can apply for a longer visa in Spain. And while you're waiting for your application to process, you can stay there and you can potentially get probably a work visa up to 3 years.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and maybe even extend it to 5. That's what I heard recently.
So I wasn't aware of this. The European Union and they have what they call Schengen rules
Mm.
for visas, and we're going to put a link in the show notes.
Doesn't that sound like a dance?
Schengen
We're going to
rules.
do the Schengen.
Okay.
Doing the Schengen. No?
No,
Okay.
I don't think so.
I'm Schengen around. I've completely lost
You
my marbles.
have. You have. I don't know what's going on. This one surprised me a bit.
What?
Panama.
Panama.
Panama. You
Yes.
get to wear a nice hat. You get to wear those.
Yes. Oh, I can change my hats.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
cost
leave.
of living is affordable.
Hmm.
Climate clearly tropical. And again, U.S. citizens can stay up to 180 days without a visa.
It's half a year, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
That one didn't surprise me. I hear of a
That's
lot of
great.
people going to
Yeah.
Costa Rica.
And they mentioned the Central Valley and Guanacaste, but the coast there too is great for especially surfers.
Have you been?
I have.
No, I've never been.
Yeah. It's beautiful.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And
Very
very
tropical.
friendly.
Hmm.
And U.S. citizens can stay up to 90 days without a visa.
How's the food?
Good. A lot of organic. Good. You know me. I'm like, it's food. Yay.
Yay. But you do have to, again, healthcare can be an issue.
Well,
Make
yeah,
sure you
have
have
to,
health
obviously,
insurance.
yeah. And we're
And
going to talk about all those considerations,
okay.
Joe.
All right.
So,
And visa. And we will have some links in the show notes about visa
right.
information for travelers.
Right. So, if you're going to spend part of the year in these new locales, you do have to think about certain things so that
Hmm.
you can make a smooth transition. One of them certainly is financial planning. You have to figure out what your budget is because you possibly are maintaining two residences if you're going to
Possibly.
do, right?
Hmm.
So, all your housing, utilities, insurance, travel expenses. So, you want to make sure that you figure that out. And then there's tax implications. So you want to understand both your home state and the state that you're going to. I know that if you establish a permanent residence, you have to be there for 6 months and a day.
Correct. So my friend that I mentioned that's established residence in Florida, I think they're kind of what I would call the reverse snowbird. They stay down in Florida for 6 months and a day, and they literally keep track on a calendar.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
track, and then they're back home in New England for less than that.
Right. Right.
And
So there is that. So you got to plan that out
Mhm.
and understand what the tax implications are.
sure.
We already talked about this, but the healthcare considerations, the
Mhm.
insurance coverage, you have to make sure your policy will ensure you that, will get that insurance coverage in both locations.
Mhm.
And then for those 65 and older, the original Medicare coverage is available nationwide, but it may not be available outside of the country.
I don't think it is. I think you have to get something separate, and
Hmm.
that's original Medicare. If you have a Medicare Advantage plan or private insurance, you need to confirm that it covers you
In the
in
winter
whatever locations
destination.
that you're in.
Yeah. And then
And
just general access to,
Mhm.
medical services. So, you don't want to be out in the, in a tree house in the middle of nowhere and have some condition.
a tree house, is that what we're talking about here? Did we talked about buying, renting, and van life. We didn't talk about tree house life.
Well, if you're a snowbird, you might be up in a
I
tree.
don't think I don't think people fly like that.
Oh,
I'll tell you, I was in the British Virgin Islands a number of years ago, and I have a
PEI.
I have a shellfish allergy. A lot of people know about this.
Mm-hmm.
And we were having dinner at a restaurant, and I explained that I have a shellfish allergy, and she said, "Well, there's no hospital here."
Wow.
She said, "The nearest
So
hospital
you
is
can't eat. We're not serving you.
1 hour away by boat. We
Mm.
don't have a boat. It's 20 minutes away by plane, but we don't have a plane. And there's a high likelihood of cross contamination. So, will you be dining with us?" There are places that don't have a hospital nearby,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you're in the islands.
Right. Do, 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 do,
What is that?
do, 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 do.
Aloha hoy? Aloha hoy? I don't know how that goes. All right. So again, we talked about renting versus buying.
Yep.
And if you have two residences, you can hire someone to manage.
Right. Yeah, you might have a property manager, right? While you're
So
gone.
my parents' place that they had in Florida, it wasn't anything like extravagant. It was very modest. But they weren't there in hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't oceanfront, but they weren't far from the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
They had to have someone come in and
Yeah.
deploy the
Well,
hurricane shutters and do all
and
that.
I know somebody who leaves here in the winter and they rent their house here out while they're gone to somebody that they know basically or know of. So they're kind of watching the house and sort of taking care
That's a
of
good
it.
idea.
Yeah. So there's lots of options. And then there's also, I guess, legal matters in terms of, make sure all your estate planning documents are up to par and all
Hmm.
that fun stuff.
Well, if you have like a power of attorney, you want to make sure
Hmm.
that it's valid in wherever you are.
Right. Driver's license.
We're pointing at each other. Driver's license.
I
Make sure it doesn't
know.
expire.
Well,
Well,
I'm going on a trip in a couple weeks, and I had to get a driver's license for that because I'm doing the driving.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So I had to get an international driver's license, and it's only good for a year.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So just
Did you have to get a visa?
not really.
This doesn't sound very well. You
I'm
didn't
not
have me
going
do the
to
research.
explain the whole thing, but yeah, there's new requirement that's, I guess, going to be really instituted in May.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so we kind of did, but didn't have to. I
Okay.
guess, sort of, kind of, whatever.
All right.
All
You
right.
also want to make sure where you're going is safe.
Yeah.
You want to be in a safe location. So,
Absolutely. And also that you're in a friendly location, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you're trying to integrate into this new community. So you're going to have to build new connections and unless you're going to the same place every year. So I guess
Mhm.
that's another vote for being aware of what your community is like. If you found one that you love, maybe that's what you want to do.
Some people will rent a few times and they'll try different locations
Mm-hmm.
and then they'll decide, okay, this is where we
This
want
is
to
the
go,
place.
and then they'll
Yeah.
buy something there,
Yeah. Yeah. Which is a
or
nice thing to be able to do.
they'll do the RV thing,
Right.
and
Or the tree
or the
house.
tree house.
Yeah. Rent a yurt.
I'm told there's not as many yurts and tree houses available as there used to be.
Oh, bummer. So
Snowbirding could be fun.
it can be fun. And with the proper preparation, it can be safe as well.
Proper preparation. That's hard to say.
It is. Say it 10 times.
Proper preparation.
You can't even say it once.
There's the financial and the tax considerations
Right.
and all of that.
Right.
But we're going to have a lot of
Yeah. And you
sources
can
in the
go
show notes.
to, like, especially if you're traveling overseas, there's the official government websites, the embassy websites, the IATA, I guess, travel center. So there's a lot of sources that we've listed for you in terms of that.
All right. And if you get some value out of the 60 Plus podcast, share it with friends and like it and subscribe
Yeah.
and do all those things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And exciting news.
What?
We're available on YouTube now.
We are?
Yes.
That is
It's audio
exciting.
only. You're not going to see
Oh, you're not going to see our
you're not going
cute
to see my
little
beautiful face.
faces. Oh, well, that's good.
But so in addition to Spotify and all the other
So you
podcast
can,
players.
just listen to it with your eyes closed. It
Exactly.
won't matter.
Sure. Yeah. So we're available on YouTube. So
Yeah.
you can like and
Yeah.
subscribe there
So,
too.
this was really helpful because now I've got some ideas about what I want to do next winter.
Ah,
I'm going to start planning ahead.
very good.
Yeah.
All right. Is that it?
That's it.
All right. That's it for this episode of the 60 Plus podcast. I'm Joe.
I'm Janet. Bye.